All right, one and all, welcome back to the Competitive Age of Pass 4 action. We've got more series from the Elite Classic 2 qualifier. So many series went uncasted, and I just couldn't let that slide. We had to go back and catch some of it. And this is a fun one, actually. Two players I very much enjoy watching at the moment. We've got Faye starting off this best of 3 as the Byzantines in the south. And to the north, it's Myriad, a rising, aspiring player living in the UK from Hungary, playing as Jeanne D'Arc. An interesting draft, actually. We haven't been seeing much Jeanne D'Arc coming out so far in the qualifier. Another interesting thing is the way that these guys drafted overall. For a start, they both banned the exact same civs. So there was a ban focus on the Rus, the Malians, the Ayyubids, and of course the Ottomans. Ottomans always have to be banned. Especially against Myriad. This guy has a fetish for this civ, even before the buffs. The other interesting thing is the fact that when I looked at the draft, I think I said in my chat, it's like, even if I removed the player names, I knew it was Faye. Faye drafted the Byzantines, the English, the Japanese, and the Order of the Dragon. So literally just everything that she just loves to spam at the moment. Curious to see what she can do here, opening the series on Dry Arabia. Just a reminder, the maps for this series are going to be Dry Arabia. We've got Frisian Marshes and Coastal Cliffs as the options that can come out. So let's hit the 2 times speed just to get through the early game. Because we're just going to see a lot of gathering. Pretty standard stuff, right? Jeanne D'Arc actually didn't move out for the gold, so that's a little bit different. I think players have changed their minds on this. It used to be that you'd basically just move out, build the mining camp with her, and gather gold, turn around for School of Cavalry. Instead, he's just going to be fine with building School of Cavalry. Because I think if you build a house and then just gather until you've got your tech up and leave Jeanne with 1 villager to build a School of Cav, a few seconds after walking out, you should get your tier 2. Yeah, here you go. It is going to be the 2 villager build. Meanwhile, other side of this Fate. Over-gathering on the gold, so that's interesting. I'm wondering if we're going to be looking at a quick wheelbarrow. Oh, wow. Dude, are we getting Hippodrome? No, that we are. She's gathering off of the berries already. What? No, it's... Okay? I guess this is interesting. So she goes Grand Winery, even though she exhausts the berries. So I can explain like what the logic would be here. It's the contract timing. She wants to have the first Lombos ready before the first night arrives. I feel like just getting a Limitane achieves the same thing, though, to defend you. It might be she's going to play out into a pocket resource, but Longbows don't help you there because it's a little bit exposed. I've noticed a few players do this against super aggro civs. I'm just not a big fan of it because you just get so much less value out of the Grand Winery at the beginning. It almost makes it feel like Hippodrome is just a more justifiable choice, actually, because like by the time this Grand Winery goes up, she's going to have exhausted 2/3 of the berries that she has access to. It feels very weird. And remember, it's a big deal because you're missing out on 60% extra olive oil. So remember, you get 50% of the food you gather as olive oil as well. So 60% extra, it means you're missing out on an extra 30% here. So of the total olive oil that could have been in this area, there was what, 1,500? You would have got 750. You missed out on an extra 30% there. So you missed out on 225 extra oil. It's quite a lot, actually, for the early game. And wow, even though she went Grand Winery, she goes Eastern Mercenary Contract, so she's going Keshiks. Okay, that's kind of creative. So the reason why Keshiks can work here, they're not great against the Royal Knights, but what they are great against is everything else that Jeanne's going to build as an opening. You never rush into spears here. You rush archery range and you have women at arms. So the Keshiks can hunt Jeanne down. In fact, they can chase her down and kill her quite easily. I think that's what this is about. Night Raid comes in, though. Villager is going to survive that just about. Well played, actually. That was sick. Faye, she activated the Akratoy defense. If it wasn't for that, that Lance charge would have killed her, because the way French Knights work, against 50 HP villagers, they only need to Lance and then strike once because of the damage buff they get. So, well played there. Doesn't mean you now have used that tool. You do not have it for a very long time after Akratoy is used. So, problematic if this happens again, but that's why you should now be rushing into Raxes. In fact, it's going to be double Rax Limitane spam. Faye just going for the most... I think the word she'd choose to describe this is Papega format. It's literally just an A-click comp if you think about it. I like it though. You know, against what you're up against, it makes a lot of sense. Unless Myriad starts adding in spears, he's going to be weak for it. Instead though, Myriad's going for greed. Second TC intense. Nice villager strike down there. I quite like Myriad's approach here. Keshiks can be annoying, but if you start condensing on a TC, it's less effective. Especially considering like you're kind of capped on your scalability here. Faye's already adding in groves, and this just doesn't feel good. Realistically, you want to be able to play for a second berry patch to scale Keshiks. You just don't have the knight numbers to justify that right now. Second Keshik group might change it, though. Knight still being a bloody nuisance. Myriad. Whoa, boy, whoa. Okay, that was not worth it. Getting a villager for a knight kill, it's not great. Even if you get 2 villagers, the argument is usually that knight is more value alive, especially in the early game. So kind of problematic that he goes down like that. Behind this, though, it in a way is just kind of a bait and a defense, a distraction, should we say? Because behind this, we are getting multi-TC play. Multi-TC play that's not even going to be intercepted. Wow, Faye. Wait, is she looking for the boar? This feels so weird, man. She's looking for the boar. She's looking to snipe down Jeanne. And she might get Jeanne if she sees the boar, but the problem is she misses it entirely. Oh, no way. Dude, that's such a depressing moment in the game for Faye there. If she gets this kill on Jeanne, she resets everything. She slows down the escalation to level 3. And all of a sudden, Keshik's worthwhile. But missing that small detail, there's actually nothing but a big detail, really. Means now Myriad gets the TC up without any aggro into him. On top of that, the ball play doesn't get blocked. The Keshiks might intercept Jeanne now, but with Divine Restoration, I don't think you kill quick enough here. I mean, just re-rally the troops, right? Cleave comes out. Give a chase away, pump the Divine Restoration, and Knight will save the day. So Divine Restoration is at least forced, but Faye needed a kill here. Especially now that she's 2 TC versus 1. Walls are at least going up behind her. She needs to set up a small wall here. I think it's pretty good against Keshiks because they can rotate. And then you can just defend on the left side. Instead, it looks like she's trying to get aggressive. I actually like that she's playing out onto the map. The reason why she probably feels quite confident is she just saw the size of the army and she has questions, right? Like, why does Myriad only have 6 archers? Why does he not have more knights? We know the answer to that. And I have a feeling that Faye has sniffed it out now as well. If she didn't, she's about to when she scouts the mining camp on the stone outcropping. And there is your confirmation. Click the stone. You see a lot is missing, and this should make it quite obvious. The problem right now is the villager rushing up the walls. This is actually going to be tight. Faye has to just rally straight for it. No, dude, the A click on the wolf. She should still make it. No, wait. Oh, no. Wait, what? Faye, come on. Okay, she realizes she goes to the north side, but Myriad with a quick wall attempt. Not quick enough. So Faye will keep it open. Keshiks are in towards the back TC. However, the problem with Keshiks here is you don't have undermesh yet, so you can't rush the dive. Instead, it's going to be a back away and a guard on the location. Limitane are moving up as well. You can actually burn down this TC with this many Limitane. It's dicey, though, because if this was French, you'd do it. Because French, like, there's no trade the other way. The problem is if Faye walks in and commits Limitane and gets cleaved down, these guys are expensive. They give a lot of XP. 90 resources equals 9 XP per kill. You just can't afford to give that over. Not unless you're able to rush Castle Age, right? And when you're spamming Limitane like this, going into olive groves, mass olive groves, you don't have the ability to rush Castle Age. Interesting game now. So Myriad's going to try to play a long feudal, right? No, I don't think you scale fast castle here, right? Like, maybe? Because the problem is if you try to go mass archers, Limitane are still kind of silly with the shield wall. So you might feel like that's kind of a weak play. Oh. Oh no. Okay, Faye does realize that was almost a catastrophe. They just walked away a second before. Unfortunately, Spearmen are nearby, so this is where it gets a bit ugly. In the end, doesn't even kill a single villager. I can't believe that. Myriad gets away with it. And the problem is Faye, because she parked the army on the left side. Oh my god, she didn't even stop the wall going up. What's Faye doing with the Limitane right now? It's a bit of a weird one. It almost feels like she forgot about them. Probably just doesn't feel like there's anything they can do on the map. That means like you've invested into mass Limitane to do nothing. While Myriad is 2 TC and scaling, right? It's not a great feeling. So if this is the way Faye wants to play the game, I'd love to see a second town center coming from her. Just so that she gets a lot of long-term value out of this eco boom. I'm kind of just feeling that the Kashik play didn't pay off. It's awkward, right? Because you could argue if she went Lombos, then Myriad would 100% have just gone 2 TC, maybe even 3. But like the problem is the Kashik haven't done enough. Myriad is about to go Castle Age, and the Limitane finally go in, but after such a long delay, you have to ask if this was worth it. Guildhall coming. Spearman are at least going to reach in to find a few villagers. Garrison's going to come in, though. And villagers are just going to run away. So Limitano will keep on chasing. They have got the extra charge through speed because the wolves is not activated here, right? It's the regular Spearman speed. But still, it's just such a hard chase, right? Like, unless you can pinch, you shouldn't be killing. Still going to turn around and go for the TC. But right now, looks like the shield wall is off. So Faye losing her Spearman way too quickly here. Even with Undermesh. Yeah, this isn't worth. Meanwhile, the raid on the right side, it looks like actually Jeanne is going to get sniped down, but so much XP! Oh my god. Castle Age complete. Clash comes out. Myriad does lose a few workers over here because of it. But still, a lot of XP gained in the end for Jeanne. And now she can move in to clean up the Limitane. Oh no, and they just reactivated shield wall. Uh-oh. Cleave. So I think it's fair to say that Myriad's going to get quite a fast level 3 Jeanne in this game. This is so expensive. Oh my god, he needs to pull away. Myriad is just going to run off. Wait. Or not. Apparently he miscalculated that. He didn't pull away quick enough there. Funnily enough, that would have been a cruise to level 3. Instead, it's not going to be a fast level 3 Jeanne because of all the deaths. Still, it's Castle Age advantage, and it's also Guildhall. So this kind of puts a fire underneath Faye's ass, because if she waits around in Castle Age, you naturally get imp with the Guildhall scaling, right? With it already being on food. So that's something to keep an eye out for. A game where Faye has already had to be the aggro player, she's going to have to continue it here. Golden Horn Tower now on the way. Nice push away the Limitane. I just love that Faye is allergic to ranged units in this game. Will that change in Castle Age? Probably not, because she gets access to Golems. She does have some power in this castle, though, right? Like, Myriad, after all of that, is only 7 villages ahead. And I would argue he's not even ahead when you consider the power of Sistine, right? Giving the extra 18% kind of gap closes what Myriad has here. Especially when Myriad actually hasn't even got his level 2 eco upgrades yet. Farm count looking pretty good at this stage, right? We're up to what, 20? 19. Golden Horn Tower complete. I'd love to see Faye just immediately queue up 2 monks from here. This type of position in this game, Myriad's not playing Rapido enough to control the map, so like Relics is the most logical thing you can aim for here. You could go for a catch-up TC, but I don't think you're far enough behind that you make that type of play. To me, catch-up TCs isn't something you necessarily see at this point in the game, when Faye still has a window of opportunity to do something else. Catch-up TCs is something you do when you're 20 plus eco behind and you can't break the enemy base. And yeah, monks are being queued up. Upgrades also coming in, so the Limitane getting a lot more threatening now. Is Myriad... Okay, he's going for Relics. I was like, there's no way he's just going to try to cruise towards Imp early. That would be kind of crazy here. Keshiks are going to raid in. Not ideal what's happening here right now. Veterancy is on the way. Has used Dialecticus, so she will get it a lot quicker. Weirdly enough, there's no reaction. Wait, what? 5 Limitane distract the entire army. Level 3 Jeanne is in, though. However, it's going to come at a price. These villagers, there's no way, right? Spears are coming. I actually think Faye might be in a bit of trouble here. Villagers, tries to pinch them, but Myriad, a slippery bugger, gets away with all 5 villagers. The Spearmen, they are going to get overran here, but arguably these Keshiks didn't get anything they were looking for in the end. Now behind this, we have at least got level 4 Sistine, so that eco escalation we're talking about. Like right now, Myriad is kind of behind actually. It's 22% increase on gathering. If you think about the difference of 7 now in their economies, Byzantines are ahead. Especially when you also add in the fact they always get this olive oil. as a bonus on top of the Garings. However, not going to lie, level 3 Jeanne is quite a big deal. I'm just not really seeing what Myriad's immediate plan is here. He's playing a relic race now from behind. He didn't mass knights. He doesn't actually have any map control. And he's still up against Keshiks. Like, it's a very risky way to play this mid-game. And I'm expecting Faye to probably get 3 relics, if not 4. And someone highlighting that Myriad gets less, spends less via consecration. You're correct. The problem is he's not really using all the buildings, right? First Knight being produced in a long time. They're still feudal. He hasn't been producing out of here for a while. These Raxes have stopped producing. Like, the thing that I always highlight is consecration feels better on TCs if you're not permanently using the building you consecrate. This feels like it's been a bit of a waste for him. He's at least getting it back online now, but that gap, I think it kind of cost him. It's deceptive. Consecration is a very strong tool, but only when it's consistent. Wow, 5 villages going down. Wait, was that 5? I think it was 5. Even that or 4, either way, mistakes being made. Myriad just actually getting outplayed right now, distracted by the Keshiks in the mid-map. Limitane now diving into the main. Myriad. Oh my God. These reactions, they're costing him right now. The eco lead that he's meant to be building is never actually being realized. He's only 8 eco ahead, despite how early he went for that second TC. Men-at-Arms coming out is going to be a difference maker now, so it actually has something to tank with. And a heavy loss now for Faye, something that needed to be happening because this Limitane count was getting out of control. So this is actually where the game gets scary because Kite Shields is on the way. Kite Shields turns Limitane into a raid force, and remember, Faye set up all these olive groves, so she has the spam ability of it, right? The problem as well for Myriad is the shield wall makes it very difficult to contest Limitane with the thing you're meant to contest them with. Even after the nerf still, the 40% range reduction is insane. And she has got the level 2 ranged armor. Yeah, please do not build knights anymore. Anytime knights come out, face smiling. Now, credit to him, Myriad is actually getting quite a lot of XP out of these type of engagements. She needs to be careful about positioning with Jeanne D'Arc. I don't expect him to get Mecha Jeanne too quickly here, but if this continues for the next few minutes, which I'm expecting it to, then that becomes a very real threat for the Byzantines. I can't believe Faye's literally just building mass space. I mean, there has to be a limit to this play, right? There has to be a point where you reflect and say, okay, I think we're done here. It's looking effective so far. My hesitation is like, how long does this last? This has an expiration date. So here's the thing I'm thinking. You just get Gambesons with arbitrary mass, and weirdly enough, you're fine. Gambesons isn't too expensive either. Look, the +5 melee armor here, it's ironic, really, isn't it? Because for all that range damage reduction, and oh my god, how did Jeanne survive that? For all that range damage reduction you get on Limitane, the melee damage reduction in return balances the fight out. It's very weird. Faye. Don't mistake this for her actively producing something else. That's the Golden Horn Tower. She can't control that. It's Keshik and Limitane till the end of time. Unfortunately, I genuinely think that that will lose to Arbitrary if the numbers ever get up. But right now, the numbers are looking good for Faye. Mass Limitane. Oh my god, Myriad. Dude, there's games that you sit there and lose and you just... You have to take a moment afterwards, and the only thing you can say is like, well then. This is one of them. The Unlimitane strategy to open a best-of-3 tournament series. And it's working. By God, it's working. Keshik now riding for the economy. These Limitane are very quick as well. When the shields are down, 1.44 movement speed is no joke. It's insane. When you chase a target, you chase quicker than Knight. Oh, gonna be kept alive. She's like, let me on. Scrappy doing it right now. Bone of the wall attempt here. Needs to be careful though, because they need to bait out Jeanne and turn around. These Limitane, if they just get one lick in. Unable to do so though. Wolves going to stay up. However, elsewhere, it's not going to be so lucky. It's a break into the main base, and Faye in too many places for Myriad to hold. He has been measured and found wanting, and this is devastating. The consecrated buildings are being lost. Unlimitane Faye is unstoppable. And while she has all the uns, Myriad only has an and is this really happening? It is. He just doesn't have anything. I think we're going to be looking at a winner chicken dinner opening to this series. Faye, what a way to begin this best of 3. Jeanne D'Arc goes down. Nothing left to defend. Myriad has to tap out. A very early dominant lead in this series for Faye. What an insane way to open this, man. I was not expecting the Unlimitane strat to rear its ugly head like that, especially against a Civ that usually just goes arbitrary to counter, but she understood her timings really well. That Olive Grove play, the transition, just mwah, chef's kiss. I love that approach. And yeah, Myriad may have had 3k food and 1.4k gold, but he didn't have the buildings to use it. Like, he doesn't actually have a way of producing fast enough is his problem in that game, right? I think there's a mistake in the way he's scaling there, and I think the Limitane distracted him in a way that he just lost focus on getting to a point where he could scale an army fast enough. Still, great read and great timings on those fights coming out from Faye. Gets her on the board early, but she still needs to close the series. Game 2, about to load it up. We're going to Frizzy Marshes, and it is as we predicted. We are going to get the Japanese versus the Mongols. This matchup is interesting, actually. I think the Japanese, my take on it is they are heavily favored here. I know a few people have differing feelings that actually the Mongols can easily deal with it, but I think the play is you have to go Coca Township for 2 reasons. One, actually, why am I saying it now? I can just show it in game. It's a perfect way to open this up. The end of the game, and I will explain all the magic to each of you. Game 2 of this best of 3 in the Elite Classic qualifiers between Myriad and Faye. It's going to be here on Frizzy Marshes. Myriad with the Mongols, Faye with the Japanese. Going on the 2x speed. So let's talk about why you have to go for the Coca Township. 1, if you go for Kura Storehouse, your farms are a liability because they end up a bit too far away from your TC and the Mongols can burn them. 2, even more important is if you go for the Shinobi opening, you can contest the Mongol opening. Typically, Mongols get a loose spawn in their stone more often than not, and they drop Raxes and whatnot out of range of the TC, so you can sabotage them. Then the follow-up is if your opponent goes spears into Keshiks, which they will on a map like this because they'll trade, Shinobi trade really well with both of those units. You'd think they would suck against Keshiks, but they don't, because what you do with your high melee damage is you bait Keshiks into charging, wait for the charge to run out while running away, and then Shunshin to gap close. And that gives you an edge. I have to see if Faye wants to do that, though. I think she knows that that's got to be the way. She could realistically drop a Kura Storehouse here, but I think if you're doing that, then you're allowing the Mongols to dictate the pace of this game, which I'm never a fan of. Let's see how she's going to play it. Rax is not going to be sabotageable here. This is actually really smartly played by Myriad. With the Uvi being close, because he dropped the TC on the left side instead of the north, he protects his stone, which is the most important thing in this early game for your Civ. And it is going to be the Kura Storehouse. So Faye, she's given over pacing to the Mongols. It's kind of a shame, really. Like, I think with the way Cook Township got nerfed, nobody wants to touch you anymore. Oh, thank you for the correction there. Yeah, Myriad does not have a point on the board. It's Faye. Let's flip that. Yeah, so with the way they nerfed Coca Township, I wasn't a big fan of that change. I get why they done it, and I think there's a better way of solving the Coca Township issue. So for those that don't know, the way they changed Coca Township is Coca Township now doesn't immediately spawn a Shinobi. You have to wait the 23 seconds, and you get a Shinobi for free. But I'd argue you don't get it for free. There is a price. The price is just different. You're paying it in time. Time that you can't afford to be missing. And, well, this is exactly what I was worried about with this Kura Storehouse play. Look at what's happening. He even does it in vision. Oh, man. It's not going to stop the tech up, but it's not meant to, folks. It's just meant to block the farms and eventually burn them. I can't believe how close he got to this base. If there's one thing Japanese never like doing, it's building units in Dark Age. And this also, as has just been highlighted in chat, it does block out the wood. You can shift north side, but that means you're going to be out of TC range. You cheeky mother ducker. This is like the most aggressive outpost I've ever seen a Mongol player place on Frisian Marshes. I can't think of one that's ever been deeper than this. And Faye, she's like, well, this is happening, isn't it? She can start gathering wood, but even if she wanted to react instantly, she didn't have what she needed for Iraqs. Villagers being pulled by... Wait, Myriad, what? Oh, that is a mistake. That is a fatal error. What? Dude, you had this game in the palm of your hands. No way. Dude, he done select all army, didn't he? I think? I'm so confused. This was unnecessary. Oh my god, he wanted to have his cake and eat it. I see so many Mongol players do this, and it's so unnecessary. He wanted to move over and secure the gold as well. You don't accept the win, dude. Like, sure, she'll still get Castle Age, but she won't have the farms, and also you can burn the bounty, right? Because what happens here is you can't stop these farms from filling around. So once they start getting here, you just keep getting your spearmen out and burning them down to get 50 bounty. And Faye gets no value out of her Kuristo House. Like, it's the reason why you never build Kuristo House against Mongols, because what ends up happening is you pay for their tech ups. But no, instead, Myriad, he literally had the opportunity to make this a 5-minute game. But because he got greedy, it's going to go longer. Outpost coming up, but this is a race. And the funny thing is actually Faye can commit more to this if she wants to, right? Like, she can bring a second village instead. This pacing, Myriad would complete first. The problem is, even if she completes first, she needs to complete in a rush because she needs to snipe these villages. And here we go. Moves them in. Spearmen do not want to dive this, though. Great read by Faye. That is twice. She has now outplayed him on the outposts. Myriad. What a mistake. Now twice in this game. 2 villagers pulled, but the garrison's going to come in. And that's going to be a cancel on the outpost. That has to be. Target onto the villagers. Myriad. He needs to move away here. Wait, dude, he's going to commit it. Oh my god! I can't believe he got that. He almost loses both villagers for it, but he actually gets the outpost up. The problem is actually, once again, if Faye just rushes this with villagers, it will die too quickly because he lost the spears. So Myriad quickly rushes out more spearmen to garrison. Problem also is until you got arrow slits, you don't contest this gold. But afterwards, look at where all the gold is. This is insane. I don't... Okay, there we go. As I was saying, I don't like the Faye isn't pulling villagers. It's on the way. This is it. She needs to get out. Because if she does not, the game is already over. Dude, this is actually a crazy game. She has to sacrifice the arm to save the body, right? So, looks like 2 villagers are going to be lost for this, but Outpost is going down. Oh my god, man. This is crazy. Behind this, there is a silver tree, by the way, but it's only queuing up as first trader, so no eco-escalation yet. And Faye now has the gold. So what this means is by the time you have like 7 or 8 traders max, Faye can be in Castle Age. So Myriad has to balance this. He can't just rush traders. He has to find another way of pressure pointing this. This has been a crazy game. We're only 7 minutes in, but man, say what you want about Mongols, but sure can deliver sometimes. Yeah, textiles did come in. That's why she was able to do that. That's why I think Faye was waiting for that dive originally, is because she wanted to gather the food, gather the gold, and make sure she had that tech before she goes in. So great read. And Myriad has not been double villager producing, no. Remember, he was producing extra spearmen. And I imagine he's now going to commit to double Keshik. You kind of need to go Keshik here, because you're going to need to start diving the base of Faye. Maybe he just goes spears, because like realistically, Faye should be going for Mount Samurai here, right? I say that, but it's Faye, so really it could be literally anything. I know she loves Onabagisha, and in fairness, on a map like Frisian Marshes, you actually get a lot of sheep. You can already see by the amount of kebab on the ground there, right? Like, she is sitting on 21 sheep. And remember, she also has the Kura storehouse now. Myriad now scaling into those traders. So 3 already online. Tech up's going to begin soon. Guys, it's finally time Buddhist! No, I'm kidding. Dude, that landmark genuinely is atrocious. I think honestly somehow they buffed it and it became the worst landmark choice in the game because they buffed the temple. They buffed the temple equality. They also buffed floating gate, right? So if they just buffed with temple equality on its own, it still would be bad, but it wouldn't be as bad. But now it's like floating gate is basically in 95% plus of games. The only reason why it's not in 100% of games is because every once in a while someone's like, ooh, maybe temple of equality is good, and then they remember it's not. Okay, floating gate coming up. Steeled arrow is being researched. I'm not expecting Onimusha. I feel like this is more to do with the fact that you just want to get strong defenses, right, with the arrow slits. But it could be quite creative here. Like, realistically, the number one thing that Mongols do when they get trade is they build Keshiks. And Keshiks get countered hard by Onimusha. Then again, like, you could just counter them by going for Mount Samurai, right? Mount Samurai does the same thing. Okay, so dive comes in. Keshiks. I'm going to hang around here. Steel Arrow is about to come through, so this is going to start to hurt a lot. A nice little interruption, though, slowing this down. The heavy cav is at least going to find a few eco kills. In fact, right now, Faye, oh my god. Crap will get off the pot, right? This is actually a big idle hit. He's going to lose both the heavy cav boys. But still, delaying this timing is important, right? While this is happening, there's more trader scaling. Now there's more spin being prepped. And it is going to be the Onimusha. Dude, what? So here's the problem with this. If Myriad just scales archers, he counters it from an age behind. It's kind of problematic. By the way, I'm going to address that comment. Also, why has my HUD disappeared again? I don't know why this happens. Let's quickly flashbang my face. Hello. All right, go back. Boom, it's back on. That's so much quicker. So I'm going to address that problem because I'm shaking my head at that Temple of Equality comment. I'm going to have to 1-2 punch that one down. So the issue with the idea of all relics are gone, I can get permanent gold with Temple of Equality, is you have to sacrifice population to do so. And also, you still have to expend on very expensive monks that take 4 minutes plus to return their cost, right? It seems like it's cool. It seems like a good idea. But if you're up Craps Creek without a paddle so much that you need that gold from the Buddhists, your game is already lost. The Onimusha. Gonna just tickle away at these archers. Yeah, I've highlighted this before. It's really weird for Onimusha. They have an extra 0.5 tar range, but because of the size of their hitbox and their attack animation, archers always get in range. So a little bit of idle time achieved here. Myriad has bought time for his tech up. And this should just be a double down on archers and then veterancy upgrades along the line. Isn't this fast? Wait. So people think this fast castle meta for Japanese is boring. I disagree. I think of all the civs that fast castle in the game, Japanese are the most interesting because of what they do the moment they hit it. Everyone else has a slow-moving army, right? Like, if you think of all the strategies Japanese do with fast castle, it's all tempo. Onimusha, Onibigisha, Mount of Samurai. Like, these are all fast-moving units that try to get something done. I'm actually fine with it because their fast castle is so quick and then they actually get active. What do HRE players do? They fast castle, they build 2 knights, and they try to get relics and then go late game. That's boring. Sorry, but it is. Out of all the civs in the game that have fast castle builds, I'd argue the Japanese one is at least the most engaging to watch. Gully, shut up, you HRE spammer. That's how I know I've got an HRE spammer in my chat. It's very fun. I like watching gold numbers go up. It's like ching, 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 ching. It's like stacking a camp in Dota 15 times and then clearing it. Ching, 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 ching. Onimusha. Love this. Actually moving to cut off the trade. Unfortunately, these do not have any sort of tag that would give you more damage against them, but you've got high base damage on these units. Nice blocker here, Myriad. We talked about those archers and just scaling them, right? Like, Faye, I like this opening. It gives you map control, but genuinely, I want to see something else. If you just keep spamming Onimusha, you're going to lose this game. So she needs to find a second unit type. Now that you see mass archers, that unit type is Mount Samurai. It's very expensive when you have food between the two types, but it's very strong as well. Kabura Ya coming in instead, though. So Faye thinks she can outmaneuver. I'm inclined to usually agree, except for one thing here. The Mongols can go for Yam. And if they get Yam, they're able to mirror you. Because remember, defender's advantage means you have to run less distance to cover the same ground, right? Because, like, for example, if Faye wants to hit this side of the base and the left side, she has to curve round, but you have to draw a straight line. All right, I feel like I'm going to get sued for false advertising here because Faplop's words are showing on my stream. Do not listen to that guy. Those imp monks are not worth it. I'm not having this. Okay, I'm going to explain to you why the Buddhist monks suck. And it's because they all debuff the same unit. So that idea of the debuff being good, in theory, yes, if it worked right. The problem is they all target the same unit. So unless you want to go full micro-intensive, unless you are literally like several levels of micro-god, mashing your fingers so quickly on the keyboard and mouse that you're going to set your hands on fire, it's not good. Archer Mass right now is not looking good for Faye. I don't like that we do not have another unit type still. I mean, she's now dropping Yoroshiros in resource buildings. Has at least got relics returning, right? So third one is on the way home, so that's good. But Magadai versus Onimusha. I think Magadai win this, right? We've only seen it like once or twice. And I think Onimusha won that time. There was a game with Faye, but she had such a mass lead that it was a win. That game was on Golden Pit. I remember casting that, but there was no trade, right? And that was a problem because it meant the Mongols couldn't scale mass Magadai. But there's trade. And there's YAM network across that trade. I actually think Magadai win this. Not at this count, like 4 versus 14, please. But in a few minutes, the amount he should be able to add in, they should beat it. Wait, was this a mix? Maybe this was a misclick? I'm so confused right now. Onimusha are going to move in. Unfortunately, A-click intercepts an outpost. Horseman Magadai show up. So remember, the Onimusha have a very long wind-up on their attack, and look how much the Magadai attack. They attack 2.5 times for every attack you do. And they only do half the damage, so that is an edge for them. Health-wise as well, Magadai also have additional HP. And cost-wise, they cost less. Well, of the vital, right? I think like food is more spammable. The gold feels more expensive in this game because of your starting location. Maybe that's not true because it's trade. Actually, in fairness, it's why like I think how many passes has he actually got for this? Okay, yeah, no, this might be a problem. So remember, it's 160 compared to you paying 140, but like it's very gold heavy on Onimusha. And gold is not permanent for the Japanese. I don't care how many Yoroshiros you get, right? Like there's a limit. Whereas Myriad can permanently spam gold. I imagine he's probably, is he trading for some food as well? No. Wait, actually, yes? No. This is weird, man. This is so weird. Faye has got level 2 undermesh though, so it's kind of odd because the transition from archers to Magadai means that the undermesh was already a priority, right? This is such a weird game for Myriad. I think it was a bait. I hope it was a bait. Looks like they are going back for Horseman now. The funny thing is, if you actually get the Kurultai involved in these fights, archers will just win, but that's what we've had missing this whole time, right? such a weird game. She needs to reach that trade soon. Problem is, Horsemen are now arriving. And remember, Magadai... Oh, Onimusha rock, dude. My brain. Onimusha will die quick to this. Even if you try to start a step away, it's just Horsemen are so fast. I just can't believe this. I love the fact that Myriad built, like, what, 5 or 6 Magadai in total in this game. It's like, yeah, no. It took him a few to realize, but finally he's like nodded his head and gone, yeah, it's not great, you know. And now we are getting them out somewhere. So this is what I was looking for quite a while ago. The problem is you've waited so long that crossbows are coming out now, and that can actually counter both of your units at the same time. It's a little bit scary. So I think what matters is how many farms we've got from Faye, and oh my god, she hasn't added any in yet. This is a problem, actually. She's got the level 1 daimyo, now only getting the level 2. You need to spam up farms, right? Because this is very food heavy. 140 for one, 80 for the other. It's not very sustainable. Other side of this, Myriad's already been doing that, right? Patches being added in, playing off the fishing to kind of bridge the gap, rather. And now I believe, have we got spring-ons? We have. Oh, okay. Need to move past this ASAP. Only 4 Onimushi hitting in here, and it looks like the Cav are on the way. This is what's highlighting about Yam. It just makes it so awkward to do these raids. What, you kill 1 trader, but lose, was it 6 Onimushi in total? Yeah, it's not going to be good enough. Second wave's coming in at least. Faye seems to be struggling to keep up on the gold as well. Like, food is bulking up to kind of a crazy degree, but this is the strain you put on yourself, right? Like, it's the 60 gold rather than the 110 gold per rotation. Food is more sustainable long term, whereas the gold, you're tapping it quite fast. You've got less than 8k remaining safely in your base. You have got the Yiroshiros, you have got 3 relics, but even with all those details, she's never actually holding over 100 gold. I'm curious. People watching this game now, who do you think's winning? Myriad 1, Faye Chan 2. Because this game feels like it's kind of slipping a bit from Faye. Right, Myriad's getting an army together to end the game, and Faye's looking for raids that she can't easily find anymore. It's just too many outposts. And I think if that Kurotai ever parks outside the base, fighting becomes impossible. Okay, so this is a little bit better. Going into Onobugisha, I don't mind that idea because it's just too gold heavy going into Samurai. But now I think it's awkward because you want to raid, but you've got nowhere to raid. And even by going Onobugisha, archers still counter you, right? It's turning into a very weird game. I think Faye can feel it as well. So the reason why Faye doesn't go Samurai is because by going Samurai, you can't access the trade. Like right now, she's in a race to shut trade down before it gets too big. It's at 28. It's already kind of too big. I mean, Myriad has 3k in reserve. He could just buy a tech up at any stage now. So her issue is, like, if she goes Samurai, she's as slow as can be. She's trying to build every single unit that has mobility, and she's trying to out-mobilize the Mongols. And, you know, this can work on certain maps, certain formats. I just don't think it works when Yam is set up along the trade route. The traders are harder to catch. The army's quicker to respond. And you're always playing out the same corner, right? She's gone 3 TC behind this, so the good news is she's going to start to catch up on Eco. The bad news is that means we're dragging the game much deeper, and I'm not sure she's going to actually have access to gold long enough to allow that. Yeah, army's moving up. Kurotai's on the way now. This is the moment we were looking for. Gold is about to become inaccessible, and Faye has nothing in reserve. Spearman even moving in. Mount Samurai look to contest this, but they need to get on top of the crossbows, which is exactly what they're not doing. Horsemen just holding it all back. Second wave coming in. Kurotai has not moved in for the fight yet, but it feels like a moot detail. Faye, outnumbered, outgunned, and looking like she's going to have to resolve this in a game number 3. There's a blocker on the gold. That's the problem now. Onobugisha was the next transition. Mount Samurai, Onimusha, all of this is gold focus. It's always the weakness of Japanese. It's why you see them always go raiding, always try to be on the offensive, because if they get blocked on their gold, their ability to play the game disappears. That's exactly what's happening here. It's moving in on the stone now. No Shogunate Castle up, right? So Faye doesn't have the ultimate defense to reset this. Mangonel does now arrive. All right, that was interesting. Crossbows, there's enough of them to deal with the remaining Mountain Samurai. Now with double Mangonel here, this is about to turn into a not slow siege, actually, quite a fast one. The 25% extra damage, sorry, 20%, plus the fact that you have no mass troop to wrap around to dispose of to get rid of these Mangos. I think your days in this game are numbered. And they're not numbered high. Outpost being quickly dealt with. Love the snipe on the Yoroshiro Fortress. It's all about gold starvation now. Faye. I mean, she played an interesting early game. The interesting thing to me is that Myriad probably could have had this game locked in and GG'd by 8 minutes. I think he slipped up in that early game, but credit to him on his recovery here. mirrored the moves out from Faye, made sure those raids never connected. And Faye, in hindsight, the Knight transition needed to come sooner. I was a bit skeptical when I first saw the Onimusha drop. It was creative, but the problem is creative isn't good enough here. And the timings to get any other transition in felt a little bit too late. I think the biggest mistake was dropping the Euroshira in the Forge instead of dropping it in the stables. That could have changed this game for the better for her, but now the Kurotai parked in your base with your army shrinking before your very eyes. And with the hits to the back line of Onimusha, there's no way back. We are going to get a game 3. We will most definitely be going the distance here, and I can confirm that if we go to a third game, remember, it's going to be on Coastal Cliffs. It is going to be that English versus Delhi matchup. So Faye will have a great opportunity to try and close this series. Myriad, looks like we get an opportunity to answer that question. Can he execute with the Delhi? It's been a sore sticking point for him when we've been watching that lad in tournaments in the War Chief Club in January, for example. I'm wondering if he's finally resolved it. We're definitely going to be finding out, though. Because I just don't see any recovery point anymore. That's not the defeatist element here. It's just the fact that Myriad is a mile ahead. Eco lead is insane. TCs are being sniped down the flank. And there's just no gold access at this stage. It's just passive gold and nothing else. Remember also these trebs with the bonus damage to building, it gets buffed up by 20% as well. So incredibly strong. Faye. She hasn't called GG yet, but even if you scale for one more punch, it's the meta arms coming that's now the problem. You don't actually have a counter unit for that. 5 Onimusha doesn't cut it. Master Onabagisha won't slice it. And Myriad is about to dice it. White Stoop is on the way. If there was any detail that should get an immediate GG, it's going to be this. Faye, she's already on the ropes, but playing an entire age behind makes this impossible. The crazy part, by the way, is Myriad still has 4,000 gold in reserve, so every upgrade is affordable. Yeah, if people are wondering why is Faye not GGing if the game's so over, it's because she can't see this yet. The moment the Imperial comes out, it should make it very obvious. The fact that Myriad still has an army bigger than yours while being an age ahead, it tells you just how far ahead he is in this game. How dominant his economy must be. Faye is at least able to reset this temporarily with the Spring Orb, but the problem is shot triggers could be on the way. In fact, she's splitting the army at the worst possible time. Onabagisha to chase after the trade, maybe take out that win condition, but it means you've got nothing to defend at home. Myriad marches in for the killing blow. A Mango's going to get at least one wallop out. The problem is one Mango is not good enough against that heal. GG gets called. Game 3 is an inevitability between these two. And let me get that loaded right now. I'll try to keep this condensed together if we can. So yeah, tough game. I think Faye, like honestly, the fact that she got away with Kurosawa House was impressive. I actually thought she had a really good chance there considering the slight whoopsies by Myriad on the early game. But great reformation coming into that mid by Myriad. I like the way he recovered his game. He understood archers was the count to everything coming. And unfortunately, Faye, I think the weakness in her gameplay there was in her transitions. She was not quick enough to move to the next thing that would get her over that hump. And that's very important with Japanese. This fast castle build isn't about the initial punch, it's about the extra 2. Transitions make or break the way that this civilization plays right now. And if you're just a minute or two late on that, it completely unravels the plan. So, looks like we are going to get a third game. It is going to be on Coastal Cliffs, and it is going to be the English versus the Delhi. So what I'm going to do now, we'll quickly run a 60-second break. Just a reminder, people, if you're actually watching this on the YouTube side and you're not subscribed, make sure you are subscribed already. Also, always remember to like the videos and comment down below because it actually just tells YouTube you like what you're seeing. And I don't know, man. Recommend these to your friends. If you're not watching live, you can do so. In fact, you can be part of that chat right now. Hey, say hey, chat. Say hello. Hi, YouTube. As we say hello to the third and deciding game here. Second qualifier of the Elite Classic 2. Failure here, a loss here, means your chances of making the first S-tier event of the year are gone. We head to Coastal Cliffs, a.k.a. Slim Fast Dry Arabia, for a showdown between the Delhi Sultanate and the English to decide this. Myriad The Delhi can perform well, but one big question mark over this lad recently in competitive play has been his Delhi and his execution. I have watched him, I think, 3 times in tournament series slip and fall from one small but too relevant mistake. And it can be so easy to fall for that up against the English. I think if you execute perfectly with the Delhi, English should struggle here. But English, in general, I would rate as a top 2 civ on Coastal Cliffs. There's almost no matchup that they cannot win here because of a few key details. For a start, the woodlines spawn in a desirable way that you can block both of them out. The follow-up detail is if you're a TC booming type civ, stone is inaccessible because it's too far away. That second detail doesn't matter for the Delhi. The first can, though. And it all comes down to the initial engagements. If Faye is able to get an edge there, if she's able to get a longbow lead, she can keep that bow lead indefinitely and follow up with spears by blocking the tree lines. We have to see if she hits that timing. Faye, Council Hall on the way. Tower of Victory on the other side from Myriad. And the spawn is damn good for him. Double berry patch really close together. This looks good. I'd love to see Faye take a risk. Here we go. She does exactly that. She plays out into the deer. She already set it up in a nice little stat comp. This is a bit risky if the Ghazi Raiders ever sniff it out, but Myriad probably has other things to focus on, right? When he comes in to scout the base, because the gold spawns on the forward, I'd be surprised if he rotates around the back here. This is creative, actually. I don't think you make this play if your gold's behind your base, because that's where the Ghazi should be aiming, right? To shut out your gold gathering. Myriad might still sniff this, though. This is the Council Hall. Lombo's being queued up. Dude, he backs away. Okay, wow. So we have a game, folks. Faye. This is a different way to play it. The extra food could allow you to actually scale into Spearmen at a faster pace here. Even maybe adding in a few men-at-arms to tank against the initial archers. Other side of this, we should be seeing a stables quite quickly from Myriad, but so far... What? This is a very different build. Stables got delayed, so he built walls to try and secure his wood line. That's quite creative, actually. Haven't seen many players do that because they usually look to optimize the Ghazi timing. And unfortunately, the Ghazi are going to hit when they come. Scout sniffs it out. So Faye has been spotted out on the food, and it would be quite expensive to protect this investment. It is doable, though. It's just a shame she didn't push the deer more further south, because this small little indent cliff would have been easily wallable, and then she would have had a nice little pocket economy that couldn't be hit by Ghazi. This, however, doesn't feel protected. Looks like the scout might go down. This is going to be close. Oh, just out of range. Extra longbow is going to try to cut it off. A nice idea by Faye, but unfortunately the rally was a bit too late. So Myriad keeps that critical ingredient alive. He will keep getting info. I really like this wall by Myriad, man. Before this wall, I would have actually quite favored Faye's position in this game. But this small detail is actually a very big one. Even if she somehow wins the initial fight, her longbows can't block wood now. So it means that Myriad will get a recovery arc with archers on the fort. And by the way, those archers will beat longbows in similar numbers if there's no outpost. Because remember, you have a mobile outpost as the Delhi. By mobile, I mean it's built into your archers. Ghazi begin the rotation. Spearmen are on the way. So I imagine, is Faye planning to play a turtle game? I think she is, which I hope isn't the long-term case. Like, I understand initially guarding this, but you have to try and play the map, right? Whenever you're against Delhi, I don't like turtle builds. There's a few exceptions, but it's due to the quality of their massing, and that's mainly like Chuginu type civs, right? Where they can turtle and mass enough Chuginu to come out. Longbows are most effective in smaller numbers, scaling upwards off of good trades. That was a good start getting rid of one the Ghazi, but you need to start shrinking the map. Constrict him before the archer count goes up, because it is scaling quite quickly for Myriad. Faye, Steel Dagger is on the way, though. Really big deal against these Ghazi. So far, this is actually looking really good for Faye. Just finding little freebies like this is everything. The Delhi is all about optimizing to get mass together, and any chip here or there you can find slows that down. And it means that the English, especially in these small numbers, keep their premium element as an advantage. Steel Dagger just being there so quick is such a big advantage as well. I'm really surprised by Myriad's build. Going for this wall is creative, but the negative of it is that's basically most of the cost towards your blacksmiths. And the Delhi usually against the English drop a blacksmith straight away because you can't afford to be behind in your tech timings. You know, if there's any civ that is like hyper fixated on optimal blacksmith timings, English is in like the top 4. The two of the other slots usually end up being Chinese and Juji for specifically Chuganese pushes. But you know, there's not many civs that need those blacksmith timings optimized more than the English, especially when you're looking to play full fuel. All right, let's speed this up a little bit because we've got a little bit of idle time. Haven't been doing that much in the earlier games. I wonder how people feel about that. I like the 2x speed when there's not too much grand scheme stuff happening. We are getting the farms now added in. Deer are almost exhausted. They played this little extension really well, actually. I think if it wasn't for that extra food, she'd be struggling to get enough spearmen out to defend this. And now she is moving out to try and contest those sites, because this is the point in the game, right? We're almost 9 minutes into the game. Myriad should be moving out for Sacred Sites soon. Unfortunately for him, Faye is doing a good job of choking the map right now. Undermesh also on the way in. If she can force a fight, Myriad's in trouble. So question coming in from chat. Why don't players ban Delhi when they know it's S tier? Because it's not S tier on this map. I genuinely think that Delhi's overplayed on this map. Delhi's like A tier on this map. English are S tier on this map. Wholeheartedly believe that. I actually think that the English is possibly the strongest, most strongest civ on Coastal Cliffs. So you can let Delhi go if there's something more valuable you want to get. And one thing you have to remember about this draft is both these players are very cozy with the English. Myriad, actually, it's probably his most played civ at this point. So by taking that away from a player that maybe isn't as well-rounded as a Beastie Cutie, a Lucifron, or whatever, you actually make him weaker in a different way. All the while knowing that the Delhi pick had to be reserved for Coastal Cliffs, where you now have English, which is much better. So actually, it was a very crafty approach by Faye in the draft to give that away. Funnily thing about that as well is that wasn't even the first pick. First pick for Myriad was Mongols, if I remember correctly. So Delhi came in a second. Just shows you how confident Faye was that she'd solved the issue. Scholar? What? I can't believe he got away from that. Lombos, I think they could have reached in quick enough to maybe have got that kill, but Myriad does back away. He's going to play for the South Sacred Site, where there's only one Lombo that's about to discover that he was conned when he took this guard duty. Ghazi. Not able to find much. Looks like so far we have got one worker kill in this game, so Faye has bled a little. Army value is kind of getting a bit worrisome now. This Ghazi count is getting big, as is the Archer count. The problem with the way Faye's playing this is no outposts and no direction towards the enemy base. The idea is you're meant to tickle away at the troops and then come towards the enemy base, but I've got to give it to Myriad. The way he's been dodging this fight is exactly how you need to approach Coastal Cliffs versus English. Coastal Cliffs requires that the English get 1 or 2 good fights, and then they drop an outpost mid-map. Then they force another fight near the Aura, and then they drop one on your tree line. The good fight never really happened for Faye. She's killed a few units, and it's added up for sure, but it hasn't really dented the count for Myriad. Army's about to clash here. Ghazi trying to pay it forward. We've got a few men-at-arms layered in. Faye, how many farms are we at? Not really at the strength where you should be able to do this in mass. She's about, I'd say, 8 farms short of what she needs, right? She's only got 2 farm clusters set up, essentially. Oh, wow, she gets baited in. Spearmen go down, and the Ghazi going to ride through. This is the moment that Myriad was waiting for. Faye, now stuck. No way out. She's going to lose all the army. Dude, this is it. This is exactly what was needed. Myriad timed it perfectly, baited the engagement. And the most impressive part about this is the fact that he'd done it without Steeled Arrow, without Undermesh. Those are only coming through at the end of this fight. Has to retreat. Men-at-Arms are still problematic because of that detail. Once the Steeled Arrow completes, these Men-at-Arms are not going to be very effective. And Faye, after a heavy loss like that, Delhi become a problem. Wolves are going to be going up on the north side, no doubt. Sacred Site will be locked in. And all of a sudden, the clock is going to be against you in a game where you just took the type of fight that you can't afford to lose. In fact, Myriad has been floating an insane amount of food now for a few minutes. We're probably just looking at Castle Age. It's a smart read as well because Faye, she either castles up and tries to get an eco game going, or she doubles down for feudal. Either way, that's an advantage for Myriad, right? When he locks in these 2 Sacred Sites, if she goes Castle Age, time is ticking. If she doubles down on Feudal Age, sure, she can decap the Sacred Site, but now she has to worry about compounder defenders. What a harsh the game this now has become. Just shows you the difference one fight truly can make. I mean, Faye, she had the right approach. That chip damage almost just getting her over the threshold. Myriad, patience, pitch perfect. Ball burn through on the way. Lombos can contest this. I don't like this part from Myriad. We've seen a lot of players play Delhi and lose games from doing this. Glady backs away before it starts to mount up. If you lose like 5 or 6 Ghazi there, you let Faye back out of her base. You don't need to go in her base. You just need to keep her in her base. Compound defender now on the way. Sacred Sight's locked in. A difficult game now for Faye. It's unfortunate, actually, because Faye, the other thing as well, if she could have dodged that big fight for another 2 minutes, you start scaling men-at-arms, right? But the problem is you can't afford to give those Sacred Sights over. That was the frustration for her. That was the desperation play, right? Just having to take that fight, having to contest site to site is what allowed Myriad to bait her hook, line, and sinker. We're going to go for the 2-time speed of a moment, as this should be a slow move out towards the Sacred Site. However, Wall's mostly up. One piece has been forgotten, but that archer could fix it. And Myriad now an age ahead. In a game where Faye would have to stop all production just to catch up. In a game where Faye right now is behind on military mass. Ghazi are in, by the way. Oh my! Spearman got completely ignored. This is great for Myriad, actually. Idle time here is exactly what you need because the Ghazi aren't going to be upgradable in time, right? You want to shift into Lancers, so any eco damage you can do here is probably the best trade you can now get with this light cavalry. Oof, wrap around the back isn't going to find any deer sights or anything, right? It's all congested, but it's still idle time. It's also still Spearman chasing, and it means the Lancers that are now coming out from the main base of the Delhi are simply uncounted by this army. Men-at-arms as well. Going to be a backup temporarily. Myriad not looking to rush the fight. Veterancy for archers would still take way too long here. So you just need to trade out. Lancers do arrive, so now it's going to be a start-step back. Faye needs that castle age ASAP, but it's going to be problematic when you've still got a few Ghazi raiders messing around your base. Love the fact she's not overreacting. No, she doesn't pull the woodworkers back. The gold workers, no. She just chases it down. She clears it up. So the Ghazi are now dead. The Sacred Sight's still locked in. And now with the Lancers arriving, this is going to be a lot of longbows being lost. Faye just has to back up. Has at least got the walls rebuilt. So tech up will be safe in that regard. And arms Lancers. Oh, nice stab in there. Sick ring of the bell. Actually gets the attack speed order to just get rid of that initial Lancer. Myriad is going to be pushed away, but the unfortunate reality of this game right now is Faye. I don't think this was necessary. Oh, man. Dude, this is rough. I think she's cracked under the pressure here. Going for White Tower, it makes sense if you're worried your opponent's going to dive you. She sees the men-at-arms scaling, but I don't think she's as weak as she thinks she is. 6 men-at-arms and scaling with this many farms, which is doable, is fine. This White Tower is the type of thing you build if there's 20+ men-at-arms coming to your base, right? Then it makes sense. But now Faye, the one area she can get an eco advantage in, she's not going to have. She's not going to scale ahead on village account. Her opponent has got Compounder Defender researching the village fortresses. He's already grabbed 2 of the 5 relics on the map with a 3rd on the way. This game is starting to turn to a bit of cruise mode for Myriad. Sacred Sight was at least decapped, so she buys more time. But that only makes sense if you have King's Pass as well. Tough game now for Faye. Match point situation. She looks like she is on the cusp of being eliminated here. Myriad, we questioned his Delhi. We've watched him play multiple times, and he's struggled multiple times. But this game, he played it right. Dodges the fights until the right moment, gets castle age when it matters, is willing to forfeit the Sacred Site when he realizes it's no longer his win condition. And now we enter a phase in the game that is truly problematic for Faye. Longbow upgrade just came out. But the men-at-arms count is getting scarily large. And the longbows, ooh, Faye, miss micro there. Men-at-arms are going to chase in. It's like she will be able to get back towards safety, but still, keeping this men-at-arms number down is important. Funnily enough, this is the type of game where Faye should be able to scale into mass men-at-arms and win, but without an eco lead building over time, that doesn't really ring true here. Ball's going to be broke. Oh man, it never got repaired. Faye trying to get into crossbows, but there's just so many heavily armored units. Lombo's trading up against the archers, but they're standing their ground here, not able to walk away. Myriad now with a double military pop advantage, even more when you look at the army value. This game looks like it might be over. White Tower will protect the right side, but who protects the left? Let's dive in. This is confirmation. Myriad, he's seen the White Tower for the first time. You have to feel so confident when you see this. Men-at-arms are eventually going to get shredded down by it, but there's going to be eco losses, there's going to be idle time achieved. And behind this, Myriad still has plenty of food left over to keep on pumping men-at-arms. Sacred Site also locked in. Stones now being gathered. Keep drops should be on the way. In fact, we've already got one on the west side. One needs to be dropped on the east. Once that happens, now on only one TC, with such a small army, Faye is going to struggle to get siege to break these castles. I actually love the fact that he's taking berries from her side as well. I really feel bad for Faye in this game, man. She had the right approach on the opening, but Myriad was just too crafty. I think that that's the situation where when your opponent is dodging a fight, you just have to go for the outpost down the center and accept it for what it is. Maybe you outpost to the left near the sacred site, so you always fight over one, and then get a second outpost towards the base, but was never able to find that convergence point. And now with a keep drop right next to her gold, I think we are about to watch the curtains close quite abruptly on Faye's chances of going to the Elite Classic 2. Crossbowmen also just being cut down before they can mass up. They shift into the choke point, but the Mangonel is left unguarded. Villagers now being pulled to repair it. Will just about save it from destruction here. Trebs are at least coming out for Faye, but the castle is definitely going up. Sacred Site timer is now down to 7.5 minutes. No farms, so no longevity there, but Myriad still has plenty of berries left to work with. The Siege Workshop being set up in the center, so you will have Springles to solve for this problem. The issue is that Faye doesn't have Springles of her own. She can't really afford them. She doesn't have men-at-arms in quantities that could dive anti-siege either. Is there a way she can make this work, though? A Miracle Knight has come out and somehow snuck in, but he'd have to kill 10 plus workers to make this good. And the eco may seem rough, like roughly even, but it's actually incredibly deceptive. Compound defenders just completed the village fortresses. Eco escalation now for Myriad, on multiple keeps. On top of that, remember, the berry gathering rate can test the farms. It's not permanent, but for now it makes it much better. Add in the fact that he should have 4 relics, 2 sacred sites. It's nowhere near close. Not to mention the fact that Faye needs so much to blunt these defenses. So like the way she's investing isn't in an army that breaks a sacred site, it's only some that breaks a keep. Meanwhile, Myriad is building an army designed to break an army. Tough game. A well-fought series by both players, but starting to look like an unfortunate end for Faye unless she can get a miracle fight. Castle's at least going to be burnt down, so that's a good sign here. But Myriad, plenty more stone being gathered in the center. He's already got a backup keep here, so it's still scaling him. 6 eco ahead now. And stone being gathered on both of the sites means we're probably going to get a castle on each of these sacred sites. A little bit surprised Myriad went for farms on the front side there. That was a little bit shocking to me, considering that that area is dangerous for you. Funny part to me is when Delhi players congest their base like this, so they don't have room for farms at home. And obviously, if anyone's wondering why is he like building out on the keep, that seems weird. The only reason it seems weird is you have to remember at home, that's where all these wood gatherings happening, right? So like the villages that spawn outside of a keep over here have 2 choices right now. It's like gather stone or build farms, right? Sure, there's wood nearby, but the farms feel like a safe bet around these defenses. Trebs. I'm sorry, did you serve in the Imperial Guard by any chance? Have you been working for the Empire? Is your boss Vader by any chance? Okay, they finally hit. He only hit with one again. Wait, is he attack grounding? I'm trying to figure out why they're so bad. They usually do a better job. There we go. Finally, we get proper hits. But Springel's now moving in. And that means the trebuchets are not safe. This is too many men-at-arms. Trebs can't move away quick enough. Mangoes are now being targeted down instead. So it looks like trebuchets are going to survive. But this army able to push this back. And it's going to be a reset. Happy with what he's done. He slows down the trebuchets. He gets rid of the Mango. Myriad has more siege on the way. Trebs, it's time to miss again, boys. Here we... Whoop. All right, they've optimized. A little bit of overextension coming out from Faye here, though. I don't think we have marching drills, by the way. I'm shocked by how often this is not prioritized by players. It's actually a very big deal here. If you marching drilled, you'd be on top of the Lombo straight away, so then the men-at-arms win, right? But it's not there. Springel's are moving out. I'm surprised we're not seeing them used to snipe out infantry right now. It's actually a pretty big deal to get rid of these crossbows. Just always fixated on those trebs. 4 minutes away now from a Sacred Site victory. Repair crew is working on this castle, so it will keep it alive. And north side is just not feasible here. Myriad is not actively producing out this castle, so it seems he's forgotten about that, but it's still an eco lead for him. Treb count needs to go up to 3 to break this quick enough. Springel's really are the problem here, because now Mango means your army's countered by 1 unit, right? So the issue for Faye in this game is if she can't get anti-siege to get the advantage there, she can never dictate the fight that has to now happen. The castle going down is a big thumbs up. But what happens afterwards is really scary here. One Mango can ruin her entire game. And now, with only just over 3 minutes to go, she doesn't have enough time to shift for the north side keep. She's got 1 Springel, but right now it's 3 versus 1. Okay, made that 2. Springel Tower is actually doing God's work here. Myriad's getting a little bit over frisky. I don't think you need to force this, but he did get the breathing room to get a little bit more repair in. 3 minutes to go rather until Sacred Site victory. This is a scrappy engagement. I think Myriad is kind of like over-investing in this pushback each time. It's giving false hope to Faye. The problem I'm trying to solve for is like how she gets in quick enough here. It has to be a rush. Here we go. She's going to make her move. Castle's down. Springle Tower now return fire. She's going to start learning the pain that Myriad experienced. And also now 2 Springles versus 2 Springles. The Mangonel really is the difference maker here. Faye has to back away. Oh man, this is getting tight. Behind this, Myriad has more farms set up, so more meat grinder going. Raxes are producing all the way from home, though, and that can be a big disadvantage here. Faye, she might have an opportunity here, but she needs to go fast. I don't think she realizes her strength in this moment, right? She cannot see what we can, which is Myriad has not got optimal production. It's a long way to run for these troops. A lot of sloppy fights. That one Mango, though. It almost feels like Faye needed more men-at-arms here, but if she did have more men-at-arms, she would have lost out every time she pushed earlier, right? Like the Lombo is the reason why those trades work so well. But you're reaching a point where you can't wait anymore. You have to go. And frontlining with the crossbows, not the best choice here. It means the men-at-arms are going to last a lot longer. Mangonel smash comes in. Springle trade out begins. Mango's at least gone, but now with the men-at-arms uncounted, I think Faye is dead. Minute and 10 seconds to go, and I just don't think she's got any fuel left in this one. A great attempt by Faye, but it looks like it's going to end in a bitter defeat. The crazy part in this game as well is the fact that Myriad lost eco and didn't even actively produce out the keeps. He hasn't been inflating his food numbers. Faye now going to go for the decap, though. Castle being built up. Treb's not quick enough. Myriad with the sneaky backup keep. That's the detail. That is the cherry on top. No amount of troops available to Faye to stand on this long enough. It's just going to be a blocker. Sacred Site timer paused temporarily, but that should be all she writes. Faye, now no way of breaching the keep quick enough. Village is being pulled. She doesn't have enough stone to drop a keep of her own, though. She doesn't have enough time to get it. A great read there in the end. Myriad, definitely not the cleanest of games here. A bit of panic setting in. Too many distractions for him. But now, even the villagers committed, just as a frontline trooper to push this away. Faye, despite her best efforts to turn around what felt like a shaky mid-game, she will end her journey here. Elite Classic 2, qualifier number 2 will be a fail for her. Myriad takes it 2-1.